Islam, Islam, Islam. You there, Michael Jills, ill? Let's get this started. I'm gonna stand, I'm gonna rise for the reading of our divine constitution, bylaws, our pledge of allegiance, etc. Let me see if I remember the pledge of allegiance by heart. So I do got now to say it in my tongue. Islam. We the sons and daughters of this ancient Moabite blood have established upon these shores in this alien civilization to be preserved at all costs through Ali's holy and divine laws. If we violate these universal laws and principles of our forefathers, may the wrath of our forefathers strike us down 7 times. We pledge our allegiance to Noble Drew Ali, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I never was. Islam. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution by law. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And he was known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion. They may harm his brother or sister because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. You know what? You don't have a copy of it? Yeah, I won't. I'm going to tell you that. Pardon self. Pardon self. Start Act 6 over. Yeah. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. You don't have to rise, though. That they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names was given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era in time now, and all men now must proclaim a free national name and be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all the necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children Wife, you must obey your husband, take care of your children, look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant from your holy prophet, Nabi Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Islam, Islam, Islam. I'll now read the additional laws. This comes out of your one-on-one. You have a copy of your one-on-ones. You're going to read the additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Nabi Ali. You got the additional laws. I don't think that's in the printout. I don't know if I'll print that in there. That's the one-on-ones. It'll be at the end. It looks like this. It says Act 1. No. You're gonna have to get you a physical copy. I'm gonna order some of these so we have them. Use about $5 online. These one-on-ones. You can get these on Amazon. These are our laws. These are additional laws for all Moorish Americans by the Prophet Nabi Ali. Act 1. Grand sheikhs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Nabi Ali before acting upon any members, whether it be finance, property, or any line of life that would cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc. That would cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheikh. Act 2. All members are to attend an EDUP meeting and in public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around in a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift the nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. If he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch him. Let it be he or she, according to love, true peace, freedom, and justice. So I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag, speak radically against the church, or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, goes out from Sunday school, comes to God as a nation. Act 6 and Act 7 is in conjunction with the divine constitution and bylaws already, so there's no need to repeat it. All rise for the reading of our Moorish American prayer. We will face the east, that will be towards the land of life. We put our heels together, heels touching, feet at a 90 degree, spread a little wide. There you go. Feet at a 90 degree. Raise your wings, angels. 5 members to the left, 2 members to the right. Repeat after me the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my God, and my salvation. By night and by day, His holy prophet, Ali. Amen. You can now be seated, Moors. We will continue to rise, give perfect praise to Father God Allah. I will give perfect praise to Father God Allah, because Father God Allah is the greatest. Me personally, my personal testimony with my Father God Allah is that the hurdles and obstacles that I stay encounter on the daily that I overcome. And I can't I can't really give myself any credit. It's a higher power doing this. It's clear to me because its doors is open without me having any type of involvement in it. It's just opening. It's people attracting themselves without me really having any involvement in it, other than just doing what I'm supposed to do for Allah. Because when man serves man, he serves Allah. What man does for man, he does for Allah. Allah speaks through man. So anytime I'm doing a service for my fellow man, brother, sister, holding my holy covenant sacred, then what happens is Allah always responds to that. And he gives me his grace. So I praise Allah because, some people like to praise man, but you honor man. You honor man for the work he do, but the praise goes to Allah for giving that person that talent. So all praise to Allah. We have to always praise Allah. Him alone gets all the praise, the Almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, the creator, governor, the author of the world. For Allah has instituted the laws for the world. So all praise to our Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, and justice. Allah. And all honors. I want to give high honors to this man, his prophet, the prophet of Allah, our angel, our messenger who came to the four corners of the earth to deliver us a message of the everlasting gospel of Allah. He was coming back from Cuba on this trip. The prophet wore fezzes and turbans, and this is the only time you'll catch him without a fez or a turban on in any of his pictures. But he had on sabaro, which is the national headdress for the Moors during the time of the Reconquistador. When they have took the fezzes off our head, we wore the sabaros as symbolic meaning of the fez. When he went down to Cuba with the Latin Moors, he got the land grant back to declared us a nation in 1929 at the Havana-Cuba Conference. And this is the picture with him coming back on the boat from the Havana-Cuba Conference. And this has been documented, 1929. And then Wall Street crashed because he declared us a free nation, independent, sovereign nation. The prophet put in work for us. He left his works for us to follow and keep and uphold these sacred. So we can always be a nation. If we don't got no laws, we don't got no government. That's why we read these laws given to us by our prophet, because by this he had something to stand on as a government. He said he went down to other governments who has laws and regulations, and he went to them and said, look, we have a nation as well. And we claiming to be the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited this land, the original inhabitants, the true possessors of the Moroccan Empire. That's what he went to Cuba and declared us. So all honors to this brother for that great work. At his height, he had 8 million followers. He had 8 million followers, boy. No internet. No Instagram. No Instagram followers. He had real followers that participated in government activities. Various states, he had 15 different subordinate temples. And they each had branch temples on from there. So he had 15 different headquarters. And then they had different temples from that headquarters as well. So just in Chicago alone, they had at least 2 or 3 temples. In Chicago to cover the north side, the south side, the west side. And the same thing with like Detroit, they had 2 or 3 temples. Prophet also had grocery stores in multiple cities. Moors had their own grocery stores, manufacturing companies where they manufacture their own books, clothes. Prophet also had moving companies. So these are industrious acts of being a self-government, self-reliant government. We must take care of our own. And somehow during the mission, that has been lost by people. And it's only been 100 years. It's only been 100 years we lost that. So all honors to the prophet for leaving his footprints clearly cut for us to follow. So I know as a grand sheep what my mission is here to do. It don't matter who comes and goes in the temple. It matter what I do for the temple. It don't matter what you do for the temple. It don't matter how many people you have around. Because the prophet started this with 4 individuals and grew to 8 million. He started this with Emilia Hill, Small Bay, Loving Bay, and Foreman Bay. 4 Moors. And they grew to 8 million. All honors to this prophet, the holy prophet of the Asiatic nation. And all honors to his forerunner, his harbinger, John the Baptist. John the Harbinger. He was the harbinger. Harbinger means someone who prepares the way. This was one of the greatest conventions ever held by our people, 1921. The brother had 20,000 people show up in Madison Square Garden in New York City. For 30 straight days, they shut down Madison Square Garden. They had parades every day. They dressed in uniform every day. They dressed like this. If you read the stories from these brothers who was Garveyites, they'll tell you when they get out work, they put on a uniform. They was honoring their neighborhoods. See, the way you dress is honor. And more say he outside. Come upstairs. Why the show? Just gotta know how to get in here. I can always go on to the back and show you how to open the back to the head. But back to the morning. Marcus Garvey, the harbinger. See, the mission of a harbinger is to prepare the way for something. He prepared the way with the UNIA. He prepared the way. How did he prepare the way? He got the people in government form of thinking. He had them wearing uniforms, having pride in themselves as government officials with the Universal Negro Improvement Association to improve the Negro mind. So he improved the Negro, put him in a condition, a state of mind. He had 6 million followers. He put 6 million people mind in a state of mind. So the prophet can come right behind him and tell him you ain't no Negro, but you're a part and parcel of this government. See, these are our 2 pillars. This is our Jesus and John the Baptist. Modern day, in these days and times. See, we write history, boys. We're going to be in a new body. There's going to be new history books written about us, about how we overcame mental slavery, the worst mental slavery ever put on any humans of any time. The worst mental slavery you can ever have. These 2 brothers helped start that. These are our forerunners. 100 years ago, they came in the beginning of this age of Aquarius, and they came to uplift the people and dedicated their lives to them. So all honors to our Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali. All honors to our Moroccan flag that Noble Drew Ali got out the White House, out the Benjamin Franklin room, to be exact, where it still hangs to this day. The Moroccan flag. Look up the speech by the sister Hillary Clinton in a Benjamin Franklin room. She spoke to Morocco and had the flag in the background. So all honors to our flag that's over 10,000 years old. It is over 10,000 years old. So we can date it back at least 10,000 years, but it's over 10,000 years old. Before they put the star on there, it was an all red flag we was hanging. And then we adopted the 5-pointed green star. Now this is before the Kingdom of Morocco and Africa had this flag hanging. We was the first person in this damn time to hang this flag was Noble Drew Ali. And here it go in his hand. He got these two flags hanging in his hand. Noble Drew Ali was the first one to wave our flag on North American shores. This flag was buried. George Washington said he chopped down our cherry tree. That's what he meant. He buried our flag. It wasn't known that then we had a flag, because if you have a flag, then you have a nation. See, the black people ain't got no flag. African Americans ain't got no flag. Colored people, Latino, they have no flag. They have no government. They have no national government. They are not claiming their nationality. So I'll honor to our flag and I'll honor to this receipt with you might know as a U.S. banner or American flag, Islam. I'll honor to that flag. Because we made that flag for the Europeans, so he would be able to do business on our land. And he owes us compounded interest. That's our receipt. So I'll honor to everything that makes us Moorish Americans. Descendants of Moroccans born in America. Islam not brought on no slave ships. We was born in America. Islam, Morris, Michael Lewis here, Michael Jills here. Let's get them cameras on, boy. You got the Telegram rules. Islam, and also send in those fees and donations and taxes.
Islam. Give me a second.
Okay, Islamism. So let's go into our questionnaire. Islam, our 101s. Do you have a copy of it? There you go. So I'm going to read the question. I want you to give me the answer. Islam. Quran questions for Moorish children. Key 1. Who made you?
Allah.
Key 2. Who is Allah?
Allah is the Father of the universe.
Key 3. Can we see him?
No.
Key 4. Where is the nearest place we can meet him?
In our heart.
Key 5. Who is Noble Drew Ali?
He is Allah. He is Allah's prophet.
Key 6. What is a prophet?
A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh.
Key 7. What is the duty of a prophet?
To save nations from the wrath of Allah.
Key 8. Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America?
Noble Drew Ali.
Key 9. What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
1913 AD.
Key 10. Where?
Newark, New Jersey.
Key 11. Where was Noble Drew Ali born?
In the state of North Carolina, 1886.
Key 12. What is his nationality?
Moorish American.
Key 13. What is your nationality?
Moorish American.
Key 14. Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we are descendants of Moroccan and born in America.
Key 15. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded?
For the uplifting of fallen humanity.
Key 16. How did the prophet begin to uplift the Moorish Americans?
By teaching them to be themselves.
Key 17. What is our religion?
Islamism.
Key 18. Is that a new or is that the old time religion?
It's the old time religion.
Key 19. What kind of a flag is the Moorish?
It is a red flag with a 5-point green star in the center.
Key 20. What do the 5 points represent?
Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Key 21. How old is our flag?
It is over 10,000 years old.
Key 22. Which is our holy day?
Friday.
Key 23. Why?
Because Friday is a day on which man was formed in flesh, and it was on Friday when he departed out of flesh.
Key 24. Who was Jesus?
He was a prophet of Allah.
Key 25. Where was he born?
In Bethlehem of Judah, in the house of David.
Key 26. Who were his father and mother?
Joseph and Mary.
Key 27. Will you give in brief the line genealogy through which Jesus came?
Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary.
Key 28. Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth?
To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the Palestinian nations of Europe, who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time.
Key 29. How long has that been?
About 2,000 years ago.
Key 30. What is the nationality of Ruth?
Ruth was a Moabitess.
Key 31. What is the modern name for Moabites?
Moroccans.
Key 32. Where is the Moroccan Empire?
Northwest of Mexico.
Key 33. What is the modern name for Mexico?
Africa.
Key 34. What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco?
Sultan.
Key 35. Where do we get the name Jesus?
From the east.
Key 36. What does the name Jesus mean?
Jesus means justice.
Key 37. Did the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name?
Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin.
Key 38. What is an angel?
An angel is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh.
Key 39. What are angels used for?
To carry messages to the four corners of the world, to all nations.
Key 40. What is the prophet to us?
He is an angel of Allah who was sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah.
Key 41. What is the everlasting gospel?
It is a saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient fathers by his prophet.
Key 42. What is the covenant of the great God Allah?
Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long enough upon the earth, land which the Lord thy God Allah has given thee.
Key 43. At what age did Jesus begin to teach?
At the age 12,
Key 44. Where did he teach?
India, Africa, and Europe.
Key 45. How long did he teach?
18 years.
Key 46. What did Jesus say that would make you free?
Truth.
Key 47. What is truth?
Truth is art.
Key 48. What is art?
Art is Allah.
Key 49. Can truth change?
Truth cannot change or pass away.
Key 50. What other name do we give the truth?
Holy breath.
Key 51. What have you say about the holy breath?
All we can say is it is great. It is good. It was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen.
52. At what place on earth was the physical part of man formed?
In the Garden of Eden.
Key 53. Where is the Garden of Eden?
In the land of Canaan, in the city of Mecca.
Key 54. What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden?
Mecca.
Key 55. What is the name of the first physical man?
His name cannot be used only by the executive rulers of the AC of the MSTA.
Key 56. What are the words AC of the MST of A?
Adept chambers of the Moorish Science Temple of Miracle. Parenthesis, third heaven.
Third heaven. Key 57. Who were Adam and Eve?
They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics, and Muslims.
Key 58. Where did they go?
They went to Asia.
What is the Key 59? Pardon yourself. Key 59. What is the modern name given to their children?
Asiatics.
Key 60. Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away?
Angels.
Key 61. What is the modern name for those angels?
Asiatics.
Key 62. What is the shade of their skin?
Allah.
Key 63. Are the Moorish Americans in relation to those angels?
Yes, we all have the same father and mother.
Key 64. Give 5 names that are given to the descendants of Adam and Eve.
Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast.
Key 65. What is the devil sometimes called?
The lower self.
Key 66. How many cells are there?
2.
Key 67. Name them.
Higher self and lower self.
Key 68. What people represent the higher self?
The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca.
Key 69. What people represent the lower self?
Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teachings.
Key 70. What is the higher self?
The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right.
Key 71. Can the higher self pass away?
No.
Key 72. Why?
Because it is Allah and man.
Key 73. What does the lower self breed?
Hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harms.
Key 74. What did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him?
Where are you going, Satan?
Key 75. What was the answer the lower self gave to the higher self?
I am going to and from the earth seeking whom I may devour.
Key 76. Has he finished his task of devouring?
Yes.
Key 77. When was his time declared out?
When he nailed Jesus to the cross.
Key 78. What was the last word Jesus uttered?
It is finished.
Key 79. What did he have reference to?
He had reference to the end of Satan.
Key 80. Did Jesus say that he would return to conquer him?
Yes.
Key 81. What is the name of the person to whom Jesus was first reincarnated?
Prophet Muhammad, the conqueror.
Key 82. Was Satan to be bound then?
Satan was bound in part.
Key 83. When was the head of Satan taken off?
1453, parentheses, Byzantine.
Key 84. By whom?
Response by Muhammad.
Key 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors Northwest by the European nations in 1774.
Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian.
Key 86. What is meant by the word Negro?
Negro, a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contained black water.
Key 87. What is meant by the word black?
Black, according to science, means death.
Key 88. What does the word colored mean?
Color means anything that has been painted, stained, varnished, or dyed.
Key 89. What does Ethiopia mean?
Ethiopia means something divided.
Key 90. Can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian?
No,
Key 91. Why?
because man is made in the image and after the likeness of God. Allah 92. What title does it say?
That's the part I posted. Nah, it's a typo. Key 92. What title does Satan give himself?
God.
Key 93. Will you define the word white?
White means purity. Purity means God. And God means the ruler of the land.
Key 94. To whom do we refer to at times as being the great God?
Allah.
Key 95. Is the devil made in the image and likeness of Allah?
No, he is a shadow of our Lord self and will pass away.
Key 96. Who made the devil?
Elohim.
Key 97. Who is Elohim?
Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and ever more to be.
Key 98. What is Elohim sometimes called?
The 7 eyes of Allah.
Key 99. How many days are in the circle?
7 days.
Key 100. How many days are in the creation?
7 days.
Key 101. According to science, how many days are in a year?
7 days.
Islamism. Unity. Thank you. That's a beautiful exercise. Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, brother Cam. Yeah, we in 385. More. If you look on the menu downstairs, it tells you more Science Temple 385. Islam. These one-on-ones is very special. These are 101 keys to life. See, without these 101 keys, a person might not have true life. Islam. Because these 101 is not just simple questions and answers. These each takes a deeper study of you knowing esoteric meanings of things, legalese, astrology. It's all in these one-on-ones. These are one-on-ones for Moorish Americans who are scientists and raising scientists. So once you embody these one-on-ones, you can say you got some science under your belt. See, an ADAP got to remember these all by heart. All one-on-ones. And I'm raising ADAPs. You got to work on the memory, how you live and what you got in your head. That's what really matters. That's what's going to direct you which way you need to go. This was going to keep you in bounds. Islam. We're going to go through speech by the Prophet Islam. Because we know we got a great weekend coming up next weekend. Islam. Oh, it's going to be a festival you don't want to miss, man. It's going to be our second annual conference. And it's going to be better than the last one. It's getting better every year. I'm gaining momentum. And it's really a display of the strength of Allah because, see, there's a lot of people that came and go. And they can continue to come and go. But this movement is still moving forward. We get more committees set up. The Grand Chiefs have formed political action committee. We get more activity with the House of Representatives to change laws. See, once you get involved in this movement and not just caught up in calling yourself more, but when you start to take action to change the conditions of your life through political action, then you will start to see that it don't matter how many people we have. Only thing that matters is what we do individually for the world. Because one person can change a lot. Like I said, look on the back of your one-on-ones if you have it. It's only 4 people that start this Morris Science Temple of America. And it grew to 8 million. To 8 million within a year. So don't underestimate what we're doing here. Don't underestimate it, because you can have a blink of an eye, be 8 million people waiting in line to get in here. Islam. I'm gonna read a speech from the Prophet, of course. To come out to Moore's literature. It's gonna be Article 3, page 3. In Moore's literature. Let me know when y'all are there. I always like to read the warnings from the Prophet, because I take heed to warnings. I was a wise man coming up. I escaped a lot of things from taking warnings from people. I avoided all the danger and disaster for myself. Some things I ain't listening, I paid the cost for. So I'm being wiser as a man now. I'm gonna take this heed to this warning that this prophet put on us and laid us out to have. Article 3 says a warning from the prophet for all governors and grand sheiks and head officials of all temples. So this is not a warning for just regular members. This is not a warning for those who outside the temple. This is a warning for those who call themselves Moorish American leaders. This is a warning for all those who want to lead this nation. See, we here at Temple 84, we need to build the body. We need to fill these seats up with government officials. We don't need just regular members. We need ADAPs. We need governors. We need secretaries, treasurers. We got to have a secretary of state. We got to have a national treasury. We got to start being serious this year, right now, about our political affairs. It's the time is now. More is not next week or next month. It's today. Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. Not the regular members. Out of Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation. That's in your law, Act 5. You here to guide the nation, not just to get yourself out of a situation. That's just the introduction where Allah found you at. That's when Noble Ali found you. That's the state of mind he had to reach you through. The prophet said, Allah gonna put some fire upon it, on some of my good morals. That's where you get your pot cooking. You can't cook that pot and get that water boiling without heating up that pot first. So Allah had to heat up the pot to get your water boiling. Now we got your water boiling, whatever situation brought you in here, whatever mind state brought you in here. Now we're here to raise your mind to the highest plane of humanity. And that's up there, that means law and order. We are descendants. When we throw up this 5 and this 2, these 5 members to the left and 2 members to the right, we talking about where we come from. We return ourselves to our heritage, our descendant nature. From above, we don't come from no dirt. We come from law and order. We come from the Elohim. We come from Allah. The Elohim is in order. The 7 created planets. They are in order for a reason. We come here to build a body politic like the celestial bodies. As above, so below. When man fell, he fell with the fire, but the two angels are still up. Those are our protectors, the cherubim and the seraphim. Chapter 1, creation and fall of man. Read your chapter 1, read your Quran so you can understand your heritage. See, our heritage don't come from no tribal Indians. See, we got to understand law and order and body politics. Those are body politics. Yes, we was called those body politics at one time. But the oldest body politic that we come from is the ancient Moabites. That's the oldest body politic known to man. That's the oldest government known to man. There's no older government than the Moabites and the Hamatites who formed the Moroccan Empire to make us Muhammadans. That's the oldest government body politic on the land is the Muhammadans. See, Islam is our religion. That's the political religion. So we must be political minded. See, the prophet brought us back into politics and constitutional form of thinking. So what did that mean to be a constitutional form of thinking? That means the Constitution, you must fit yourself in. You must become a government official by being a Moorish American. By being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of this government and must live your life accordingly. What does that mean to you, Moors? What does that law mean that we read? That you swear your allegiance to by being a Moorish American. When you say, I'm a Moorish American, do you say, I'm part and parcel of this government? It's the government behind that term. Because if not, then you just using the term of vanity. You're not understanding what you are and your position here. You are here to be a part of this body politic, not just sit around and get lectured all day. You're here to participate. You're here to get reminded of your laws so you can take your place and be political in your community, amongst your family. And we can regulate some things and fix some problems. The Negro problem is our problem. The Negro problem is the problem. The state of mind, nigga activity. We want to be real niggas instead of real Moors, real true American citizens. We have to uplift our mind to nationhood. We need the land and govern the land with us being government officials. You paying taxes so I can be representative like a House senator. So I can go to these senators and change law like the Sundre Free Moors did. It only took 4 of them, and they changed the law in Virginia in the time of slavery. Because they declared themselves Moorish American and came and formed body politic and took political action. They didn't go around marching and praying. This movement ain't gonna be no million-man march. This movement right here is gonna be political action. We want to fight special appearances in court. We need to go down to the legislators and make a special appearance. That's what we need, more. That's our salvation. What is the end game for us here? What is we doing here? I'm going to read this speech by the prophet. Friday, October 26, 1928, Scorpio season. The prophet said this, more. This Article 3. Read along with me. The prophet said, renew your acts. Amend your ways. Because the great conference is on its way. And it is where the law will be enforced before the great grand body. The continuance of the present officers in the temple will depend on your past good work. Those who have been delinquent may know now that they will no longer, that they will not be tolerated any longer, pardon yourself. Because this great divine national movement must move on according to law. These things shall be proclaimed. There is no favorite in any of the temples, for the laws laid down, and everyone who claims a part of the work must be governed accordingly. all are one. All are one. There is but one temple in this nation. And there is but one prophet of the temples. I come to speak to all nations, bringing them a message of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the head of every temple, if anyone has violated these divine laws, it would mean his discontinuance. For no man is to be under the influence of intoxicating liquors, nor to seek to tear up the families while under the influence of evil motives. Nor must he speak anything that would prejudice the minds of the public against this divine movement. If any of the laws are violated, anybody, grand sheik or sheiks, can file charge against the violation of the grand body over which prophet presides. This power is vested in 7 more sheiks for the protection of your temple and the divine movement. The prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam, next week we got this great conference. And it's a time for us to shape up, to renew our acts, to repledge and realign ourselves with this movement. It's time for us to make a public display of unity and a call for unity and a last call and a final call before destruction. Because destruction is here. This is why I'm giving my greatest efforts I ever gave to unite, to network, to make myself available. Because we're going to need each other. All are one. You're going to need your local temples. You're going to need some protection. The prophet already prophesied on these things. Let's go into his other warning so we can understand what I mean. Go to Article 10. A divine warning by the prophet for the nations. Sorry, Moore's Literature, Article 10, read along. Prophet said this: the citizens of all free national governments, according to the national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables, not subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it's a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of the free national government and cling to the names and principles that allude to slavery. What did the prophet mean by this? The prophet meant for us to be political, one free national government under one free national constitution. If we fail to do this, you fail to lead the Moorish Science Temple of America, you fail to enforce this constitution and live by as a government under one political body, you step out of your protection. It's not grand sheik that you stepping out of on. You stepping out on your own protection. This is the only thing, according to Marcus Garvey said, the only protection for the Negro is our own government. Never forget these wise words. He said, no other nation would treat you better than the European. He said, the Chinese coming here, they're not going to treat you better than the European did. See, when we say honor our ancient foremothers and forefathers, what are we honoring? Oh, yeah, we claiming them by name? That's lip service. See, you can't worship Allah by lips. What actions are you doing to honor your ancestors? Your ancestors lived in government, communities. Your ancestors weren't just out here like wild beasts with no order, no government, no nation, no constitutions. We today as people live in laws. We don't want to be on the United States laws, but we don't want to be on the Moorish Science Temple laws either. Well, who laws you gonna follow? Because one thing I know, if you don't follow somebody's law, then somebody gonna make you follow somebody's law. And usually it's the European nation. Usually the way they got they put on our neck, they gonna make you follow their law if you ain't under no other government law. That's called a refugee. And they're not gonna treat you like a citizen because you're not a citizen of the United States. You never can be one or treated as one. Now people steady fighting to be treated as an equal to something that we never be a part of. That's what the Dred Scott case told us. Dred Scott said, Haney, the Judge Haney says persons of African descent can never be a U.S. citizen. I got it in my book. Dred Scott case. Research this case. Learn who you are. You can't be a part of the United States system. You thought you was all these years. They declared before the Civil War that would never happen. Then they came with the 14th Amendment. They said, okay, since you don't have a nationality, you don't want to honor your ancestors by forming a nation, a government of your own, claiming your ancestors, we're going to give you one. Because you refuse to be a whole human being. You want to be 3/5 of a human. You got mind, body, and soul, but you ain't got no nationality and no religion. See, Christianity is not just a religion, more, that's a jurisdiction. See, some people don't want to come out of Christianity because it's the only way to operate in this world called North America, in the United States. You want a good job, you have to have principles of a Christian. You want a good education, you have to have the principles of a Christian. See, when you start speaking Islamic principles, then they start to bash you. You start to get less positions. People start turning back on you and alienating themselves from it. When you start saying, well, I don't believe in Jesus, I believe Jesus was a prophet. I believe he was a prophet. Oh, now you got to go. I believe Allah is in flesh. Oh, now you got to go. See, some of these Muslims are Christians. See, Christianity is not just, you believe in Jesus. It's you believing in anything outside of yourself is Allah. That's Christianity. Whatever you call it. You can call it Buddha, Muhammad. If you believe that you're not this, it's not in you, you're a Christian. You're under the jurisdiction and state of mind of a Christian. See, they gave you the state of mind of separate religions. It's only one religion. That's the religion of peace. And that's Islam. It's no other religion. See, you think it's different religions. No, it's different denominations. Denominations. See, there's only one version of truth. Ain't no different version of truth. It's only one truth. Truth is Allah. Allah is one. It's no different Allah. How can they have a different God than your God? So Jesus is their God. No, it's only one God. According to all scripture. According to all scripture, it's one God. And his name is Allah, the Father of the universe. Not the universe. I hear some people say, well, the universe gonna do this for me. The universe can't do nothing for you, but respond to you of how you utter to it. The universe is just a mirror because you're the Lord of the plane of the universe as well. You're the Lord of the plane of soul because you have Allah in flesh. You have the Father created and the author of the world inside of you. And once you don't understand that, you're going to fall back in slavery. You have deluded yourself to the principles of slavery. And then you fail to claim your national government. You claim no allegiance to a government. Now you fell back into slavery. According to law. We continue reading. The prophet said this. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine right as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government, end of the earth, and it only comes through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege has been an existing condition for many generations. Islam. So the prophet spoke on us getting political. Not only just claiming it with words, but also having a voice in your government. To vote for a representative on our own sacred secret ballot. Not under a granted privilege where we have to register ourselves as a U.S. citizen, that we are not a 14th Amendment artificial person. No, we ought to have our own rights. We have voting rights. So that means we need to start thinking of a government. That means we got to have a body. We have to have people to vote for. Who we voting for in here? If we ain't even got no members that want to be a part of the body. See, this is an assignment. This is the warning. This is an assignment for something for you to do. The prophet said, I'm sit here to warn you. What is the duty of a prophet in your one-on-ones? The duty of a prophet is to warn the people from the wrath of Allah. What is the wrath of Allah coming to us? It's political, mental slavery. And it's going to be the worst we ever suffered. We haven't seen it yet. The worst is yet to come. That's why the prophet came before the destruction. It's always warning before the destruction. See, we got to take this serious in here. I don't care what distractions going on out there. What are we going to do about this problem that our prophet has warned us about? It's bigger than a court case, Morris. Imagine going to court with no due process of law. It's going to get worse. Imagine going to court when you can't file not a paperwork. Nothing. Nothing can be filed or said. Go straight to jail. That's what we're heading for. Without a national government, we have no protection. This has been conditioned for many generations. Morris, has happened before. History will repeat itself. Jim Crow laws have been reinstituted in Mississippi. Texas is next to follow. Louisiana as well, Morris. Throughout the United States. Jim Crow laws mean you have no voice in the government. You have no right to vote. If you don't have no right to vote, you have nobody to represent you. That means you have no government, but you're being taxed. Taxation without representation is tyranny. That's tyranny, Morris. That's true tyranny. See, this is what mental slavery looks like. It looks like taxation without representation. That's what tyranny looks like, mental slavery, more. It's not going to be you in chains. No, they taxing you to death. When you get your paycheck, it's taxes taken out already, Morris. To some people that's not your representatives. They don't represent us, Morris. We've been deprived of our rights under color of law. Who speaks up for that? Who goes on the Senate floor and said we need to change the rights for these Aboriginal people on our land who've been deprived of their indigenous rights, according to the United Nations. They've been deprived of their indigenous rights under the color of law. I never seen a politician say that. So why would we go vote for them? It's time for us to set up our own voting system. More in 2024, we need to have an election right here in Temple 84. We need to show that we're moving as a republic. We need to gather a census. We need to have a census drive. That's where we start, boy. A census drive. We need our people on population. How many Moors do we have dedicated to this government on record? And then we send our representatives as Grand Sheik, go represent that body politic. I'm a head, but I can't move without the body, Morris. I need my feet and arms. lungs and shoulders, Morris. I need a strong back, a good neck. The head can't do nothing by itself, Morris. I represent the body if the body represent me. Because we under mental slavery. And the only way we're going to escape that is through representation of our own people. That's what the prophet is teaching us right here. The prophet said, I repeat, and through it they and their children can receive their divine rights unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege has been an existing condition for many generations. This is what I mean, more political action. Who's going to go speak up for the Moors of Temple 84 and say, look, our Moors are getting deprived of their rights on the color of law. We need immunity written into your law for the Moorish Americans, for our nation, as the Sundre Free Moors did, 1789. According to our treaty, we have immunity on this land, according to all Moroccan treaties of the ancient Moabites. I'm going to continue reading, Moors. Let's read what the prophet warns us about. Next paragraph says, you who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law, to the city hall, and among officials in your government, and ask them under intelligent tone, and they're glad to render you a favorable reply. For they're glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. Money don't make a man. It is the free national standards and power that makes a man in a nation. The wealth of all nations, all national governments, pardon self, gold and silver and commerce belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, by names and principles, you have no true wealth. Now I hereby calling them on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and they will receive their pardon self, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, supporting our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people, and I desire their unity and mind back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of the government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. And all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue of names formed by their forefathers. Islam, ain't no phones allowed here. Yeah, take notes. Gotta take notes later, man. No phone allowed. You need to read along with the speech right now. Islam. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. The same as the word color alludes to anything that's painted, varnished, dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers. Because honoring our fathers and our mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in union, placing the Southerners who at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. The free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men equal and free, And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th, 15th Amendments for the salvation of all people in 6 Islam. More, I got an idea for you. If you want to take notes, can you take notes on the board for me? I got some notes I want to get back. Put subject to the speech. So you can go back and copy it later. I don't know my erase or you have to erase this.
I'm good.
Why need a system? I'm asking for a system.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm asking for a system. Just to write down the notes. As well. Here it is Sunday school. I'm here to learn. I'm not here to just give lecture. We're here to participate. It's been hard on the time right here too.
Is that the picture?
Where you see one?
No, I'm just asking. Is that the
Yeah, that's the words. Thank you. Here we go. I'm gonna go get the marker for you. I need you to write down 14th, 15th Amendment on that for me. We're gonna go through a lesson with the prophet speaking on to us about the 14th, 15th Amendments. Who knows what the 14th, 15th Amendments are? Who knows in Telegram land what the 14th and 15th Amendments are? We went in civic class. We went through this in civic class. All right, write 14th. First, write 14th Amendment for me, and then write 15th Amendment. Let me know in the Telegram, man, if y'all can't hear me.
Islam, the 14th Amendment is what place us as U.S. citizens, correct?
It's wrong. 14th Amendment, write down 14th Amendment, U.S. citizen, boy. As the prophet said, the 14th and 15th Amendment is not needed for the salvation of all people. Hold on, stand up there, man. 15th Amendment, you right. What's the 15th Amendment? Who knows? More, you know what the 15th Amendment, you can answer too. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the 15th Amendment is? Mm-hmm. The 15th Amendment is the right to vote. The right to vote right there. 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. So the prophet said that these two amendments are not needed for the salvation of all people. Thank you for that, man. Going back to the speech. Okay. Page 14. So the prophet said the 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unity. So we're going to put on here North and South. So it brought them in unity. What does unity mean? Okay, it brought them as one. One. It became unity. became a union. And what is the name of that union they became? The United what was that? The United States of America, right? That's the name of the union. The Union States, aka Union States, right?
United States.
The Union, you might hear these names being called as in the Constitution, the Union. Now, what was the name of the South government before that? Well, if you want to see me, make sure you want to see me. Who knows the name of the South government, the government they had in the South prior to the Civil War? What was the name of that government?
The Federation. The Federation.
The Confederation. It's not the Confederate States of America. On the Confederate flag, right? Confederate States. And they was who? The Union States. Right? So the prophet said that places of Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. So the Confederate States had what? No power. Confederate States had no power. What is power? Let's look at the Black's Law's Dictionary. Can you help me read more? Yes, sir. Look at the definition of power for me. Let's see what power is. The prophet said the Southerners who were at that time without power. So what time is he talking about? 60? Did you say 1860, right? We're talking about Civil War era, right? How do we know we're talking about Civil War era? Because the 14th Amendment came out, 15th Amendment came out in like the 1870s, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking after Civil War, to be exact. Use your phone right now and see when the 14th Amendment was made. That would be post-Civil War.
1868.
Okay, so we're still in the 60s, 1868. What was the 15th Amendment made? I'm going for 1868.
1870.
1870. So within 2 years, they made two critical amendments. What year, one more thing, look up. What year was the Civil War over? You got that definition power ready? Okay, let's look at this. When was the Civil War over? Because this is history, prophet telling us now, because history repeats itself. If we don't know what happened in history, how are we going to know about the political actions of today?
When did the
Civil
War?
Yeah, when did it end?
Oh, in 1865.
65. So we're going to put, I'm going to put 65 right here. Post-Civil War. 65. And 3 years after the Civil War, 14th, 15th Amendment gets made. 3 and 5 years out. Y'all see that? 14th Amendment made you a U.S. citizen. 15th Amendment gave you the right to vote as a U.S. citizen. But what's the problem with the right to vote? The problem says unconstitutional. Why? Why is the 15th Amendment unconstitutional? Because the Constitution already says who got to vote. That's the Electoral College. So Electoral College vote according to what? What's that, Article 3? Who knows their Constitution? Now, y'all been in civic club. We went over Constitution. Y'all always be studying y'all Constitution, Mo. Y'all don't know who Electoral College, what's the article Electoral College in? I know on Telegram land, I know y'all know, Mo. Y'all have been too much instructions. I know y'all know. Look it up on your phone. Electoral College. What article is that?
Article 4, is it? No, Article 5.
It's Article 5. You sure on that? Double check that, man. You don't sound sure.
Article 2.
Article 2, Electoral College.
Section 1 and Section
Read it out to me.
2. The point by which elects the president and vice president of the United States.
Yeah. That's Article 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Article 2, Section 1. Article 2, Section 1 says who has the election votes, right?
Yes.
So how can I come back and make a 15th Amendment say you have the right to vote? See the trick? It's a trick. It's an artificial right, Lawrence, because they can revoke this. So this is what it means. They can't give you no right. The prophet said, listen, let's go back to the previous shot. The prophet said, and through it, their children can receive their divine rights. So the prophet said you got divine rights. Let's put divine rights up here. Let's know something. Let's understand something. Let's put divine rights. Divine rights. I don't know what else subject. I don't know. We got the definition of power. I'm gonna let Mo read that definition of power. So we got divine rights, but that's gonna go into the definition of power too. Divine rights versus what? Privileges. How you know a privilege from a divine right? Just off the top of your head, how would you know a privilege from a divine right? Just common sense. Guess.
Licenses.
License. Okay, why is the license is a privilege rather than a divine right? You want to the right thing, but why?
Because you asking for permission.
You asking for permission. Islam. So they granted you a license, right? They gave it to you so they can take it back. That's a privilege. A divine right comes from who? The divine. Don't come from no government. See, this is the mental slavery we got to overcome, y'all. You don't even know what a divine right versus a privilege? Think about that. You don't even know where your rights come from. That's what the prophet trying to get us to understand. Constitutional form of thinking. Your rights don't come from no constitution. It comes from divine rights. Then they made an amendment in their constitution and said you got a right. That's a privilege. They can't give you a right. Nowhere in no constitution say you can give somebody a right. Do our constitution say we can give you a right? No. You can't give you something you're born with called birthrights, Morris. So divine right put next to that birthright. It's a birthright, Morris. You was born with it. I mean, you're going to die with it, Morris. It can't be taken in your lifetime, Morris. Okay? This is the problem the prophet is trying to let you know. That the 14th and 15th Amendment is not needed for the salvation of our people. U.S. citizen, how can they make you a U.S. citizen, Morris? Think about this. Now, let's break down the U.S. citizen concept. Okay, First of all, what is the U.S.? Corporation. Okay, it's a corporation. We're going to put corp. Okay. What type of corporation is it? Well, let me ask the better question. Okay. Who are the people who operate the corporation? What is their nationality? What is the nationality of people who rule this corporation? European. European corporation, right? European corp. So what can I make you a citizen of? A European nation, right? So this is not America. This is not American citizen. Because they can't make you American citizen. Because they not made American citizen. So a U.S. citizen makes you a foreigner to the U.S. It takes you out of your status. So let me put artificial. I'm gonna put artificial. Artificial. Makes you an artificial person. Because a corporation can't give you no citizenship. Especially a foreign corporation. That's the key part to it, is foreign to the United States. So that's like Chinese come over here and say, we can make you a U.S. citizen. Would you join the Chinese United States of America? No, because they'll take you out of your status. Because how do they make the United States? From us, right? They made the United States from our permission. So how can they turn around and give us something that we gave them? Who declared their independence? Was it not the Europeans? So they made this through the Declaration of Independence, right? I know that looks messy. I don't take this note. That's why I was like, I need help on these notes. I'll be all over the place. This is where my mind works. I got so many notes in my head. Okay. So we got this artificial person made in 1868. Prophet said this is not needed for us. Why? Because we got a nationality. We don't have to be a U.S. citizen because we got a nationality. Okay, so the prophet also said they the Confederate States without power. More you mind reading that definition for us for power? Because how can they be without power before 1868?
Power, coming out of the Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition. Power, defined the right ability, authority,
Right ability, authority.
or faculty of doing something. Authority to do any act which the grantor might himself lawfully perform. A power is an ability on the part of a person to produce a change in a given legal relation by doing or not doing a given act.
Political power.
In a restricted sense, a power is a liberty or authority reserved by or limited to a person to dispose of real and personal property for his own benefit or benefit of others, or enabling one person to dispose of interest which is vested in another. See also authority.
See also authority. Look up authority. So the prophet said these people's without power. According to law, power means authority, political power, liberty. So the European Confederate States were without power. You want to look up the definition of authority for us?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Authority. Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition, defined and reads permission.
Permission.
The right to exercise powers.
Rights. Exercise.
To implement and enforce laws.
Ooh, to enforce laws.
To exact obedience. To command, to judge. Control of. Jurisdiction.
Ooh, what's that key word? Jurisdiction.
Often synonymous with power. The power delegated by a principal to his agent. The lawful delegation of power by one person to another.
Delegated.
Power of an agent.
Grantor, they said.
To affect legal relations of principal by acts done in accordance with the principal manifestations of consent to an agent.
That's power. See what the prophet saying to you? Why would he say the Confederate States was without power? Because they was without authority, political power, liberty, permission, rights to exercise, to enforce laws, jurisdiction delegated from the grantor. They was without power, Morris. Y'all know what that meant? How were they without power? Because they were Confederate States, but they didn't have a constitution. No Confederate Constitution, Morris.
There's no legal power or right to command or act.
Read the definition of Articles of Confederation. That's the only thing they had. They had the Articles of Confederation. So we gotta break this down politically so we can understand why we have a constitution, why we must move in government order, body politic. It's the Constitution forward thing. These Confederate States made a bond and came into union with the Union States and created the 14th and 15th Amendments. For the people that's in these states. Now, there's people in these states, though, right? There's people that's residents, so they're making these laws that's governing the people. Who are they making the 14th Amendment? The people. Go ahead and read more.
Articles of Confederation coming out, Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition reads, the name of the instrument embodying the compact made between the 13 original states of the Union.
The name of the compact. Okay, go ahead.
From March 1st, 1781 to March 4th, 1789, before the adoption of the of the present Constitution.
Before the adoption of the Constitution, 1781 to 89, that's when Articles of Confederation was in place.
That was the legal power which was granted to
That's what it reads. That's done, that's it.
Islam.
So, okay. So read, okay, let me see that dictionary. One second. See one definition. One definition. All right. Okay. Read the definition. Read article and then articles.
Article coming out of Black Law, 4th edition reads, a separate and distant part of an instrument of writing.
Instrument of writing.
Or writing. One of several things presented as connected or forming a whole. A particular object or substance. A material thing or a class of things, material or tangible object. See articles. Continue reading in English. Ulicical law, a complement exhibit in the ulicical court by way of libel. The different parts of libel. Ecclesiastical. Pardon self. Court by way of libel. The different parts of a libel. Response, allegation, or counter allegation in the ecclesiastical courts. So that's article. All right. Now coming.
Ecclesiastical courts is religious courts. So we're talking about religious government. So what I'm trying to get us to understand, what is the Articles of Confederation? How is it without power? Go ahead, continue reading, man.
So going to articles defined in the Black Law Dictionary, 4th edition reads, a connected series of propositions, a system of rules, the subdivisions of a document, code, book, etc. A specification of distant matters agreed upon or established by authority or requiring judicial action. A statute, as in having its provisions expressed under distinct heads. A system of rules established by legal authority, as articles of war, articles of navy, articles of faith. A contractual document executed between parties containing stipulations or terms of agreement, as articles of agreement, articles of partnership. A naval term meaning employment contract. In chancery practice, a formal written statement of objection filed by a party after depositions have been taken, showing ground for discrediting the witness.
Okay, so we got a good gist of that one, right? Okay, so articles, we can summarize as a system of rules. Contract, right? Made between 13 colonies. Okay? So the colonies are corporations came together to make these articles of confederation, how they're going to do business with each other, right? Now, how does that lead to them having no power? Okay, read the definition of the Constitution. So we can make a measurement. So I have to get that in your head so you can see what's going on here. See, articles is the articles of organization, the articles of incorporation, right? They say you can have articles of war. You can have articles. Okay, so articles is just a system of rules, contract. Okay, so you got to know the difference between levels and instruments. These are both instruments, right? Constitution is an instrument. Articles of Confederation is an instrument, right? But they have certain different functions. So what functions do the Articles of Confederation function? They make a system of rules of the contract. It's commercial. So they make commercial. I'm going to put commercial right here. It's commercial rules. Meaning commerce, businesses, right? How we doing business, how they going to do business. Articles of incorporation means how your business is going to move and how they're going to operate. How are you going to be incorporated? How are you going to operate your business? That's what the Articles of Confederation was, right? More when you get the Constitution, just read more. Islam. So we got to know the difference between the Articles of Confederation and the Constitution. U.S. because the prophet told us to enforce the U.S. Constitution. So we have to understand what a Constitution is versus what they've operated on from the Confederate States. They've operated back from the Articles of Confederation. So they went back from 1865, they went back to what, 1781, right? Because this is 1781 more than right? That was 1781 through 89. Before the adoption of the Constitution. So why did they have to adopt the Constitution? Key word, adopt means it's like you adopt a child. It's not yours. So they adopted something we made for them. Why? Because they was without power. Because they was what? Incompetent. So we can put South incompetent next to South. They was moving incompetent as a government. And they was fighting and killing for it too.
Black Law Dictionary, fourth edition, Constitution reads, the organic and fundamental law of a nation or state, which may be written.
Let's put that down. Fundamental law of a state.
Or nation.
Fundamental law. Not a system of rules. Fundamental law. Keep reading, man.
Which may be written or unwritten, establishing the character and conception of its government, laying the basic.
Establishing the character of the government. Go ahead, man.
Laying the basic principles to which its internal life is to be conformed, organizing the government, and regulating, distributing, and limiting the functions of different departments, deciding the extent in the manner of the exercise of sovereign powers.
And what say that line again?
In a manner of the exercise of sovereign powers.
In a manner to exercise sovereign powers.
A character of government deriving its whole authority from the governed. The written instrument agreed upon by the people of the Union. Example, United States Constitution or of a particular state.
Or a state.
As the absolute rule of action.
It's a rule of action.
And decision for all departments. Example, branches and officers of the government in respect to all the
officers of the government.
In respect to all the points covered by it, which must control until it shall be changed by the authority which established it. Example, by amendment. In opposition to which any act or ordinance of any such department or officer is null and void.
That's right. So we can conclude that more. Now, one last reading, go to Article 6 of the United States Constitution. Okay, so now we can hear the difference. You can hear the difference between articles and the Constitution. Now, they was operating under articles. Incompetent. With a system of rules, a contract, commercial. Reverting back to 1781. Before the adoption of fundamental law. Before the adoption of the characters of the government. Organizing the government. The different departments. Exercising sovereign powers. They was without the exercising of what type of power? Sovereign power. See how competent your prophet was? See, you got to break this down in a lesson so a person can clearly see what the prophet is trying to tell you in one sentence. See, he's trying to make you competent at constitutional form of thinking. That means competent at law. That means understanding what a constitution do. What does the Constitution does? The first few articles let out the office. Article 1 lets you know who's the lawmakers. Article 2 lets you know who's the presidents. Article 3 lets you know who's the judicial officers. 3 branches, the departments. So they can exercise sovereign powers from the ones who what? Govern. From the people. It's the instrument that the people use to have representation. Without that, you are without power. So why do we have a divine constitution and bylaws? Act 1, Grand Chief is empowered to make law and enforce law with who? The assistants of the prophet and the Grand Vice of the Moorish Temple of America. The assistant Grand Chief gets assistant Grand Chief in all affairs. He lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Temple of America. That's your constitution in one act. It laid down branches of officers, fundamental law, the characters of the government, the different departments, and the exercise of sovereign powers. See how intelligent your prophet is? This is only can be a thought from Allah given to the brother. Only a thought from Allah can get this brother to know all this in 43 years of his life. Think about what age you at, and we gonna know all this. The prophet knew this, exercised this, and left this for us to exercise. Bringing us back into a constitutional mode of thinking. Why? Because the Constitution is how you exercise your sovereign power. See, the prophet came to reclaim sovereignty. Read Article 6 for us, Lord, please, of the United States Constitution. So we can get further examination with this reading. Let's go to Article 6.
Article 6. 1. All debts, contracted, and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation.
What? So it said, all debts and contracts entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be valid against the United States as it was in the Confederate. See how they did that Constitution? They included the Confederate States to be a part of that Constitution. See how intelligent that document is? They didn't dismiss the Confederate States. That's how they was able to come back as a unit. It's one. It was already written in the Constitution, but that was no competence of the Constitution for the making. Thinking they had to operate separate as Confederate States under Article of Confederation. They thought a war for this, Lord. You understand the seriousness of being incompetent? It costs you your life. You'll be out fighting for an incompetent battle. You understand what it means? First, we must be competent in nationality before we go make action out here. Because you'll be out here fighting a whole bloody war over some incompetent argument. How many people of our people fought for this? Our people died for this. I'm telling you something that the prophet tried to tell us. Now, Article 6, read the second clause for us, please. This is the most important clause.
Continue reading. This Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made, under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby, being in the Constitution or laws of any state, to the contrary, notwithstanding. Continue reading.
Constitution, no, I said more. Constitution is the supreme law of the land. Not the Articles of Confederation. The Constitution, treaties, all laws that which shall be made. The Articles of Confederation, all debts contracted into. This is the supreme law of this land. That's why that Constitution matters. Because who they hold the debt to? The nationals. Treaties. Who have the treaties? Who they have treaties with? The Moroccans. That's the supreme law of the land. That's why Prophet said enforce this Constitution. Because you're enforcing the supreme law of the land. This is our land. We all know about the Admiralty Law and the law of the seas and all that. We ain't in the sea, more. We ain't lost the sea. We got a flag. See, lost the sea, man, you ain't got a flag. Prophet brought us a flag. Every ship has to have a flag, so you have citizenship through your allegiance to your flag. And your flag must be exercised through a constitution, sovereign political body. Let's continue reading. Now we can understand what the prophet is coming from. As well. Article 10, we still reading out of the divine warning from the prophet, no? So let's read that again. The prophet said, I'm going to start back a couple paragraphs so we can understand. The prophet said, you who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law. He said, go to somebody that knows some law, boy. Don't go on Instagram. Go to somebody that knows the law. They been what they know. In the city hall, amongst the officials of your government, and ask them on an intelligent tone, they're glad to render you a favorable reply. He said, go to government officials. Don't go with them internet principles. Go with the principles of the prophet and talk to the government officials and see how they respond to that. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. Money doesn't make the man. It's the free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by names and principles, you have no true wealth. Now, I hereby calling the all true citizens that stand for the national free government and enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of government. I'm depending on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate, and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Support our free national constitution of the United States of America. I love my people and I desire their unity and mine back to their own free national divine standard. Because day by day, they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians are forced to proclaim a free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there, asks for his national descent name, and he fails to give it, he is misused and prisoner or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by names and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. The word Negro deludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. The same with the word color deludes to anything that's painted, varnished, or dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers, because honor thy fathers and thy mothers, your days will be lengthened on this earth, upon this earth, pardon self. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. Prophet told you he's the first to do this. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in union, placing the Southerners who were at that time without power with the constitutional body of power. The free national constitutional law that was enforced in 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. The prophet telling you that's the color of law. If the Constitution ain't been changed, then what are those amendments? He's telling you those are de facto amendments. Because the Constitution has never been changed. The Bill of Rights was made a part of the Constitution. You can't make amendments to the Constitution after it's been ratified. It's been ratified by the 13 colonies already. How can somebody come in 1868 and make an amendment to something that was made in 1789, boy? You can't make no amendments. Game law. I'm going to continue reading more before I go crazy. So there is just one issue, pardon self, there isn't but one supreme issue. Because there is more issues, but it's one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost. We got to redeem which was lost. We claim this sovereignty. And that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens. What's the classes of citizens? Who knows what the classes of citizenship is? Who knows what the class of citizenship is? What's the 4 classes of citizenship? I gotta put my phone on charge. Boy,
National.
let me go get my
Citizen subject.
Okay, more got something going on. We say national. What's the next one?
U.S. citizen.
Okay, naturalized. The U.S. citizen is the naturalized citizen. What's the next level?
Subject.
Subject. What's the last one?
Refugee.
Alien.
Alien.
There you go. Those are 4 classes of citizenship. The prophet speaking of. I'm going to get my charge. Okay. He said he believes in a more wisely. He said more wisely administration of genius citizens. He believed in us. He prophesied in us. He's talking about future generations of people who's coming. There's going to be more genius than the people of his time. I'm going to go back to that line. The prophet said, and now the prophet do herein believe that this administration of the government being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their national constitutional laws and through the help of such classes of citizens. Classes of citizens. You want to help from all classes of citizens. The alien subjects, naturalized internationals. How can the aliens help us? The foreigners, they can help us by making allies. How can the subjects help us? Our corporations. Our corporations help fund this movement. Finances, group economics. How can the naturalized citizens help us? The Europeans. They can help us by amending their laws, their rules and ordinances to stop oppressing us under the deprivation of our rights under color of law. How can the national citizens help us? By coming to the government forward thinking. Coming to the constitutional forward thinking. Understand nationality as a part of being a part of body politic and operating and exercising our sovereign rights, our sovereign powers through the different departments of government that makes up the characters of the government. Islam. I'm going to continue reading. I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers. And they will learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of men that have never done them any good, but have always harmed them. So I, the prophet, hereby call and allow divine plea to all true American citizens to help me remove this great sin, which has been committed, has been practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into other darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment, in which they themselves try to enforce upon a civilized world, that they will not refrain from their sinful ways of action. Their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harms to human beings on earth, and they have fought the Southerners for all these great misuses. But I've traveled in the South, and I've examined the conditions there. It is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I hereby calling on all true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into the marvelous light from the prophet. Islam. So we can understand from this lesson today, right? From one speaks, this is divine warning. The prophet warned us that we must take political action so we can enforce our divine rights, not under a granted privilege. It's been the condition for many generations. This is Zach Williams. I'm going to activate this Circle 7. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Circle 7 divinely prepared by the noble prophet, Drew Ali, by the God of his father, God Allah, to any man, to his highest, parts of, from his sinful ways to his highest plane of life, to his father, God Allah. Islam. I want to go to our Holy Covenant. All the new members coming in, Morris, they know these Holy Covenants. Islam. The sister, we got a new member. I know she introduced herself on Telegram. Sister Irene. What's your last name? Tila. Bay. There we go. Irene Tila Bay. Her and Sister Ashley. There's a couple more sisters just crossing over. We got a bit of politic right here. I talked to the Sister Walker Hill. She will be returning. Her shift has changed. So she traveled from Beaumont back and forth. So on Friday she'll be in starting this Friday Zoom. So we gotta build this body politic up, Morris. I'm gonna go to the Holy Covenant, chapter 25 of the Asiatic nation. Then I'm gonna spin a block a little bit on this one, man. We're gonna spin the corners a little bit. You got your Quran, chapter 25. Gotta go over there and see. This is the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nations, man. See, this is that contract. This is that agreement right here. What is a covenant? A contract is contract law. So this is a holy contract that we have with each other in the Asiatic nation. Okay? Key 1 says, ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother have given you son. Let the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brothers, that peace and happiness might dwell in our father's house. And when ye separate in the world, remember the relation that bindeth you to love and memory. Prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brothers in adversity assist them, thy sisters in trouble forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy fathers contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. It's him. So that's our contract with each other, but let's spin a block. Let's go to the origin of the Asiatic nations, which I feel like it go hand in hand with this. That's chapter 45. I don't know what page that might be in the small pamphlet. But chapter 45, the divine origin of the Asiatic nations, man. And see, we got a covenant with the Asiatic nations. So what is an Asiatic nation? Those are different Asiatic governments. I ain't talking about the different type of black people. Some people think when we talking about Asiatic nation, we talking about different type of black people with their little governments. No, them ain't no real nation. It's only one nation handed by the prophet. But we got different Asiatic nations throughout the world. Because we all children of one father and one mother. So we know who specifically this Asiatic nation is. Chapter 45 says the divine origin of the Asiatic nation. I'm going to read. Key 1 says, the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic nation of North America need to learn to love instead of hate, and to know of their higher self and lower self. This is uniting of the Holy Quran of Mecca for the teaching and instruction of all Moorish Americans, etc. The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moors, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the Holy See of Mecca. The Egyptians, who were the Hammatites and direct descendant of Mizraim, the Arabians, the seed of Agar, Japanese and Chinese, the Hindus and Indians, the descendants of the ancient Canaanites, Hittites, and Moabites from the land of Canaan. The Asiatic nations and countries in North, South, and Central America, the Moorish Americans and Mexicans in North America, Brazilians, Argentinians, and Chileans in South America, Colombians, Nicaraguans, and the natives of San Salvador and Central America, etc. All of these are Muslims. Key 7. The Turks are the true descendants of Hagar, who are the chief protectors of the Islamic creed of Mecca. Beginning from Muhammad I, the founder of United Islam, by the command of the great universal God Allah. Islam. So not only do we have a holy covenant with the Asiatic nations, we know who the Asiatic nations are. See, a nation is a government. So who are these governments between North, South, Central America? Who are these governments in Asia? Or what you call Asia is really Africa over there. Who are the Egyptians? Who are the Japanese and Chinese? Who are the Hindus, the people you call India? Who are the Argentinians, Chileans, Brazilians, Nicaraguans, Colombians? All of these are Muslims. See, ain't got nothing to do with practicing being a Muslim. Ain't got nothing to do with being a Muslim, man. A Muslim, you born a Muslim. See, all these people got a constitution. Anybody got any questions? Y'all got any questions out there, Morris? No questions? All right, let's go into the next chapter, man. We're not screen black. We're going to get this more science in today more because we got this event coming. I'm gonna need help building this body politic, more. That's what we're doing. We
You have to excuse myself.
okay, this on. We got this convention coming up, conference coming up next week. This is gonna be the beginning of a new beginning for us. But we're gonna get ready to start our own court here. We're gonna get ready to start developing the land, getting the land, building on the land. We're gonna start getting things in order for us to really move as a government. I need everybody to increase their faithfulness. Get serious about this. I don't care how I might look. I'm not serious now. I'm serious. So I'm gonna read this chapter. Egypt, the capital empire of the men of Africa. Bring along with me. Page chapter 47. Verse 1 says, the inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Let me know when you get that, man. It's the last chapter, chapter 47 at the back. Here. Egypt,
page 47 or
chapter 47. It said, Egypt, the capital empire of the man of Africa. Let me see when we get there. Egypt, the capital empire, Guillermo. Egypt, the capital empire of the man of Africa. One of y'all want to volunteer to read for me?
Okay.
Go ahead.
The inhabitants of Africa are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites from the land of Canaan. Old man Cush and his family are the first inhabitants of Africa who came from the land of Canaan. His father Ham and his family were second. Then came the word Ethiopia, which means the demarcation line of dominion of the Amexim, the first true and divine name of Africa, the dividing of the land between the Father and the Son. The dominion of Cush, northeast and southeast Africa, and northwest and southwest was his father's dominion of Africa. In later years, many of them brethren from Asia and the Holy Lands joined them. The Moabites from the land of Moab, who received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle and inhabit northwest Africa. They were the founders and are the true possessors of the present Moroccan Empire, with their Canaanite, Hittite, and Amorite brethren who sojourned from the land of Canaan seeking new homes. Their dominion and habitation extended from northeast and southwest Africa across the great Atlantis, even unto the present North, South, and Central America, and also Mexico and the Atlantis island, before the great earthquake which caused the great Atlantic Ocean. The river Nile was dredged and made by the ancient pharaohs of Egypt in order to trade with the surrounding kingdoms. Also, the Niger River was dredged by the great pharaohs of Egypt in those ancient days for trade, and it extends eastward from the river Nile, westward across the great Atlantic. It was used for trade.
Islam, your sound went out, Rashid.
It should look like a pause. I'm gonna text him real quick. This shit must have died or something. You sent the picture thing over? Uncle Mike.
Yeah.
You.
Huh?
You sent the picture thing over?
No, hold on, mother. See if it came into my mind. Yeah, I can do it. Alright.
Yeah, you outlined everything on that passport thing already.
No,
You got to use red ink for that.
no, regular.
Black ink.
No, regular blue ink. What's the address you got in Newark?
146 B Ferry Street, Unit 1013.
Uh, your birthday September 30th
September 23rd.
or 23rd? What year?
1980. That's the meeting off then, huh? That's it.
Yeah, I see. Yeah. 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 Send that picture to my email.
Hold on, let me go back into your email. Let me see. Damn, hold up. What the fuck? Did I just hold up? I gotta find where you at. All right, hold up. Boom, 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 boom. You said send it to your email?
Yeah, because I'm trying to send it from my text message, but that shit not coming up. So just send that
Which one?
to M. Lewis. So.
All right, I just sent it. You got it?
Hold up. All right. Yeah.
Texas going off. Texas banned anybody farm. You can't buy no farmland.
Oh yeah, you ain't letting the Chinese. Where the fuck is this shit?
I'm gonna call the Sheik real quick and see what's going on. Hold on.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Uncle Mike, you still there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah, he said his shit something fucked up down at this video or whatever, so they're gonna resume on Friday. Be back on
oh,
Friday, whatever. You know what I mean?
alright.
Yeah, this will be good. All right, the picture went through?
Yeah,
All right, bet. Cause I'm sending my shits out. I'm sending my shits out tomorrow. Fuck that. We've been waiting. It's been a month, my nigga. We could have had these shits on, you know what I mean? Could have been on our third one right now.
yeah.
So yeah, I just gotta just mark up. Only thing I gotta really mark up now is just the passport thing. Once I mark that up, I guess that's it.
I sent that shit.
You said what?
I just sent it
All right.
to the Yahoo.
All I gotta do is print that out, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That what I gotta do? I gotta do a notice of removal, and I'm supposed to appeal that shit in 20 days. From that last court date. I don't even know if it's been 20 days. It's probably damn near. I gotta fucking see if I can appeal that shit, or I'm gonna have to pay $450 fucking hours because I lost trial.
I got something for these niggas on Thursday. Or Wednesday, whatever the fuck that court date is. When is it? When is the 4th?
Yeah, the
Thursday.
4th is Thursday.
Yeah, I got something for their ass.
Get ready to come outside, man, for a second.
All right.
Yeah, where you gonna be at? You gonna be around?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be around.
All right.
All right.